Let's return to our previous demo where we showed using tag selectors of P, H1, H2, and the more complex tag selector of footer space P, that is paragraphs within a footer. You will remember that the effect of these tags was to take our basic HTML page and make it look like this, adding styling based on the tag itself. In this particular case, we don't see the downside of using an H1 tag because there is only one header. If there were multiple headers on this page, H1 headers, they would all have this coloring and sizing. That may be what we want, but not necessarily. Let's return to the code, collapse our tags to make a little bit of room, and add some more specific tags. For example, we notice that on line 37, the H1 tag has a class entry title. We can imagine that there would be a number of tags with the same class entry title. We can style the entry title using a class style. Let's indicate that with a dot and then the name of the class and then the values we want in that class, which in this case will just be setting the background color. And let's set that to a gray. When we run the application now, save it, bring up Opera, and update it, our H1 has a background color. And that would be true for any tag that shared that class. We could, for example, add that same class to our H2. To do that, we scroll down to where our H2 is, and let's give that H2 the class equal entry title, which admittedly does not make sense in this particular case, but will illustrate that the class will now have its style carried over. Let's save that, bring back Opera and update it, and notice the H2 gets the background as well. We'll go ahead and take that out. Another class that we might want to update is the entry metadata, which holds the posted on, who it's by, the author. That's all under this one class, entry metadata. And notice that these spans are contained within the div that has this class. So anything we apply to this class will automatically be applied to everything within it. Let's go ahead and add a style for meta prep. Once again, we use the dot operator, the name of the class, and then what we want inside that class. And we're going to set everything inside that class to italic. Save that, bring up Opera, and when we update, notice that only the first part has turned italic. This is immediate feedback that I've gotten something wrong. Let's go back and look. Meta prep. Meta prep is the class for the span, not the div. What we want is entry meta. Let's change it and save it and try again. Now the entire entry is italic. That tells us that we have the option of having some of that entry not be italic. And to do that, we can override the class author. So we'll add yet another style for author, which again is a class, and so gets the dot operator. but we're going to set the font style for the author to be normal. When we save it and update, we see that the italic is applied until the overriding application of the class for the author. Now what about IDs? Let's go back to our code and note that this article has an ID, post 5946. There could be multiple articles, each with their own unique ID. I'm going to choose that this article should have a background color. To indicate that I want to style the ID, I use the hash operator and put in the name of the style. And now I can set the background color. And what I want is a light gray. So let's open up my color selector and move to a light gray, very pale. And we'll take that and save that and bring up Opera and update. And the entire article, not the copyright at the very bottom and not the header at the very top, but the entire article now shares a common background color. So you can see that you can identify multiple elements on the page using the class or a single element on the page using the ID.